us, Justin.
Exactly.
Yeah, but is it worth it to outlive when you're like miserable because all you can drink is water all the time?
I'm not miserable. I'm perfectly happy and healthy because
it's interesting we talk about that because we had a regular at the cigar shop for years, and he used to preach to me all the time about like eating healthy and like moderation kills and like all this weird stuff. He played golf every day. Like he was a healthy guy. Like he stayed active and he was older. And I was like, Randy, I was like, you talk about living longer and being around more. And I was like, but you sound miserable because you're having to like not eat anything you like and drink anything you like. You're just like, I was like, is it worth it if you ain't enjoying it? I mean, you got to have a little bit of both. Like there's a sweet spot there.
If I can eat what I want and drink what I want, what's 10 less years?
Yeah.
Well, there's also the thing that you could walk out tomorrow and get hit by a bus.
Dude, I know a guy recently that like he never smoked a cigarette in his life, all big health buff, always took care of himself, worked out, got lung cancer.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
definitely
crazy.
happens, it's just for me it's literal like avoiding serious pain because
I'm thinking, at this point, Jake, like,
for
I don't
me
care
it's
if I'm
it's
gonna
just
die or
like
not. It's just avoiding kidney stones at all costs.
yeah, that's all it is. I would almost rather die than have another one of those pass through my
Painful.
body. So
The
yeah.
inner lining of your manhood is going to be like callous though and tough.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Hey,
Jake's my wife just walked in.
You might get some more girth, man.
Talking about kidney stones.
Yeah, no, it's I don't recommend that to anybody. I know Billy Hunt can back me up on that. It's not a fun procedure. I've had yeah, I'm not gonna go into details, but yeah. I've had procedures done where procedures should never be done. So
yeah, I'm glad they don't run in my family.
Oh yeah. My entire family's got them. My sisters had them. My dad's had them. My mom's had them. Like it's bad. I think I was the youngest though. I think I got my first one when I was like
family
17.
heirloom.
Yeah,
and you can pass it on to your kids.
Yeah, I feel bad for them, honestly.
Yeah, I just got Tourette's. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's not pleasant. But
I can play the FU card and be like, sorry, it was my Tourette's.
I think you should start saving them, Jake, and make a necklace or something.
No, because that's just a constant reminder.
You just gotta get them. You've got to get them on a nice ring. Go ahead and get them set on a nice ring. And just get the matching set.
Yeah, like the Infinity Stones, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll just crush them up into a dust and just like put them into a ring. And yeah, I'll just snort my kidney stones.
It's a good source of calcium.
My mom actually passed one that was like the size of a watermelon seed.
Oh my God.
You're about to say a watermelon. I was like, that's not possible.
No.
That was you. And this kidney stone's huge. Why is it crying?
Shut up.
Anyways, here we are. It's episode 206 of the Herpeticulture podcast. Off with a bang with our usual discussion of kidney stones, which seems to be a very common topic of discussion. Mm-hmm. At least this year in particular, I feel
it comes up a lot.
In a lot of, we're just trying to raise awareness. Like kidney stones, stones aren't just for the old, okay, or the elderly.
No.
Jake is living proof that you can be like 16 and have kidney stones like a 90-year-old man.
Yeah, I was like 17 when I got my first one. I'm pretty sure.
See,
does that count?
No one is safe.
Huh?
Does that count as being an old soul?
Pretty much, yeah. Everybody's told me I had an old soul. I didn't realize it was literal.
Old kidneys too.
Old kidneys too. Yeah.
Apparently.
So stay hydrated, drink water, avoid the carbonated beverages.
Yeah, I try to limit myself to one soda a day, and that one soda is a Sprite.
That's a good call.
He lives it up. Yep. That Sprite's the highlight of his day.
It really is, though. I'm like, yes, you're just like crispy soda. But
this episode is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram. If you're just shopping around, maybe you're not even ready to buy yet. Doesn't matter. At least go look around on the Black Box website. See what they got to offer. racks, cages. We love them all. We all have some combination of both. We love it all. Use the code THN at checkout and get 10% off your order. Save yourself even more if you're in the nearby North Georgia region, that general vicinity. You can there's a pickup option where you can go and grab your stuff yourself and cut out the middleman of FedEx and freight and things like that. Well worth it. Me and Jake do it every year. It's a nice little trip. We really load down that truck and push it to maximum capacity. I'm actually amazed we haven't had to get a trailer again since the first round.
We did it.
Somehow we made it work this year.
No, we got the trailer the second round because we got stuff from them before we were sponsored. And then we did a second round with the trailer, and that's when we really loaded up. And then this last round, I still don't know how we filled that. I don't know how that worked out.
No way this is all fit in this Tacoma.
No, I was like, there's no way, dude. Like, this is not going to fit.
Made it work, though.
And Clint's over there like, yeah, it'll fit. Don't worry about it. And I was like,
he's got the engineer brain or something. Oh, yeah. He's dude, like, dude, this is fine. We'll make it work. And sure enough, it did. So
I don't know how it fit together like a freaking puzzle, but it works because I think we had 3 cages, 2 racks. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
A 4-footer, 2 3-footers, XR55, and then an XR20 or 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot,
but we made it work.
Yeah, somehow, some way. And we can even speak to the quality of it because it also got rained on. Just a little bit, not a lot.
Yeah, every time we make that trip, it seems like it rains. And I told that when Casey was here over the weekend. I was like, it seems like whether you're coming to us from Georgia or we're going up there to y'all, it rains. Like the weather just sucks. Like I don't think it's ever been sunny and nice. Anytime we've driven up that way, it's always been like overcast and kind of gross.
Shit. I mean, not this last time, but the time before it snowed when we were out there. Remember? Because we went for the show.
Yeah, we went to that show.
Bill and Keller, and it freaking snowed.
Yeah.
That was wild. But yes, they did get rained on, and guess what? Everything was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. So, no issues. They're built to last. They're not. It's not thin. It's not cheap PVC. They do use a higher grade and best lead times around. Buy your stuff. I think the lead time's still currently about 2 weeks. It hasn't really fluctuated at all. So get them while you can. Again, code THN at checkout. Then hop on over to Steve Snaketuary's Venom Hot Sauce. Get the whole set. That cottonmouth sauce especially is the THP pick. You won't regret it. By getting that hot sauce, you're helping Steve with his public outreach. Relocations, rehabilitations. He does a lot of events, educating the public. I guess he has people come and hang out, like check out his facility and collection and stuff too. See a lot of pictures of people there, holding boas and stuff. So by getting that hot sauce, you're supporting him directly. He's also a first responder, so help your guy out.
Yeah, man.
And then Fulvius Apparel, last but not least. You need a shirt. That's right there. Gabe's got it. Don't be a hemipene. Don't be naked. Don't be weird. Get a shirt. Use the code THN. Get 15% off your order. That is just for THN listeners and viewers like you. Hoodies are up. I put a couple of the coffee mugs up. I still have to make some more. I really only have like 3 or 4 available, but I put them on the site anyways. Should have tumblers and stuff probably towards the end of the month when I get a better heat press than what I have currently. And I got some other designs I've been working on. So more stuff to come here soon. Yep. Stay tuned by following that on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Don't be weird. Don't be naked.
That's right. Anything new on your side, Tim?
Not really, man. Everything's pretty much per usual. Everything's rocking, rolling, growing, shedding, all the good stuff. I was doing some cleaning today, took out some of the pits I got growing up, and everybody's growing like freaking crazy, man. Did quite a few upgrades recently. Everything's pretty much good. All the babies are growing. Everything quarantined from Daytona is still rocking and rolling. So it's all good on that front. But yesterday, if anybody is interested to hear me talk some more, I did do a podcast yesterday. So check out Joe with Meteoric Serpents. He started the Colubrid Corruption podcast. It premieres every Sunday, usually live. But we did pre-record yesterday because he's going to be vending the Orlando show this weekend. So we pre-recorded. It's going to be out on Sunday.
It's the 10th for anybody.
Yeah. So definitely check out his show and show him some love. Go like, subscribe, all that good stuff. He's a good guy doing cool stuff, and it's a good show. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I started the episode with Skylar the other night. Need to finish that.
Yeah, and it's only on YouTube, so look up the Colubrid Corruption podcast on YouTube if you want to check it out. It's not on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anything like that yet. So give him a listen, man. It's a good time. So,
did you notice anything having done THP and stuff now for going on
6 years?
6 years? Like, did you notice things that he does sort of starting out that we did starting out? Or was it like sort of look at like being on a newer show like that?
I haven't been on some. It's always different being on somebody else's show with, especially when you have one. When you have one, it's definitely easy to talk. You're used to that aspect, but it's weird being the one that gets asked the questions. You know what I mean? Like, it's normally I'm in his seat, and so being interviewed versus the interviewee, it's kind of different. Like I said, it's probably been 3 years since I've been on somebody else's show. But it was fun, and he also apparently he does another show that's more like ball python oriented. He co-hosts, so he's pretty much got the idea of podcasting and all that.
Got you.
We were fresh out the womb when we started. No idea what we were doing. So
still don't.
No, still don't. But we try. Feel like
Flying blind.
We're not quite as cringy as we used to be. So
yeah,
at least sometimes. But no, it was good. He had a lot of good questions lined up, and he definitely knows what he's doing. So definitely highly recommend it.
This is the first time, I think, probably since we had Jack on, that we have 3 South Carolinians all together again.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake kind of counts as a South Carolinian,
Yeah, a little bit.
But I was.
You're like the adopted one.
I was raised here. Justin wasn't born here either.
I was born in Columbia.
Oh, but you lived in. But yeah. I see. Technically, if you think about it, I've been here pretty much the same amount of time, if not more than Justin has, because he grew up in like Virginia. And
I grew up in like 4 different states. It's not my fault.
Exactly. So
South Carolina was always home. Okay.
If anything, I've had more years here than Justin has. I may have been born in Wisconsin, but I was raised here.
Which
What's that?
Which part of Wisconsin?
I was born in Manitowoc.
Okay.
What did you call me?
My wife spent some time in Wisconsin, and she's from Iron Mountain.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so she's right across the border.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful state, great state. I still call it home, but South Carolina's.
You have to pick one or the other. You can't.
No,
gun to your head right now. Which one?
Like, it's like having divorced parents. Like
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Every kid has a favorite, then, if that's the case.
I like Wisconsin for the beautiful scenery, the farmland, all that. But I like South Carolina
winters
for the herping. I don't like the winters.
Then are you really a Wisconsinite?
No. But if you're going by that standard, my dad's not even a Wisconsinite because he can't stand the cold anymore. But my dad grew up there.
You gone soft.
Yeah.
My house was 68 degrees last night. I like my house cool at night.
Dude, my house was freezing last night. I had the fan on high and I was wrapped up in my freaking blanket
It's
like a fucking
great.
gordita. It was amazing.
It's fantastic. I woke up and it was like 65 because I cut the heat off. I was like, it's getting too hot. And my wife's over there shivering like a little chihuahua.
Start adding blankets.
Just shivering. And I was like, woman, you grew up where it's negative 40 in the
Dude,
wintertime.
Legit. I was born in January. It was 30 below zero the day I was born.
Wait, what day in January?
22nd.
31st.
Hey.
Look at that, you're practically cousins.
That's right. No, man, it was legit. 30 below zero. My grandma complained about it till the day she freaking died, dude. She was just
I had to get out of bed for this shit.
She's like, I remember walking into the hospital. It was 30 below zero, and I had to put something over my face so my freaking lungs wouldn't freeze. And I was like, well, dang, sorry, Grandma. Yeah, I didn't ask for it.
No one made you come.
Yeah, it was rough.
What are you gonna get me for my birthday, buddy?
Oh, that's right. Your birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Take that back. Don't get me anything because you're gonna get me a ball.
Yeah, that's right. I already got one for you, dude. I'll order you a phobia shirt.
You gotta get him one of those cart balls.
Those are probably expensive. Probably not.
Where's your stance on those?
All right, so my stance is clearly I enjoy some hybrids or crosses, but there's always a fine line in it because I mean, you don't want to muddy the genes, right? You don't want to throw that back to another ball python or another carpet python and breed it to the point where now it's
dilute it more and more. Yeah.
Right. I think so long as you're a responsible breeder and you select who it goes to and are careful about who they go to, I don't think it's something you should be mass producing because I mean, you mass produce them, they're going to end up in the hands of some idiot that's going to be like, oh, I'm going to throw this back to a carpet python, and then bam. But I think if you're careful about it and you're selective with who you sell to, it's very niche, so I don't think a lot of people are buying anyways.
Yeah, no.
So niche.
There's that Frankenstein market for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, most of the carpet guys are like, oh, why would you do that? And most of the ball python people are like, well, that's kind of weird. And then you get the handful of guys that are like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Carpets for people who don't like carpets. They're ball pythons for people who don't like ball pythons. Why not?
Exactly.
I don't know. My biggest thing with the whole hybrids is, if you're going to do it, at least keep it in the genus. You know what I mean? Like that's my biggest thing. Like carpets, green trees. Again, some
were all python at one point. So, I mean,
but,
hey, if they're close enough to breed.
Yeah. Well,
see, for me, it's like if we're talking about animals from two different continents.
Yeah.
Like if they occupied, if it was like a natural occurring intergrade, like, Horridus and Adamanius and stuff like that. That's one thing where it's like occasionally it happens. It's not a super regular occurrence, but it is like it's been documented. Like that's one thing. And this like the part of that where I'm a complete hypocrite is the chondros, now that those have been split up so much and stuff. And it's like we've been doing crosses for years. It's like, yeah, we kind of already knew that, but when it comes to like the really off the wall ones, like the carpets and balls and bloods and balls and whatever else, the green trees and balls, Jesus Christ,
that one just hurts my
to me I don't get it. It's the same reason I don't understand why people were crossing chihuahuas with crested geckos. It's like, to me it's putting a Prius engine in a Ferrari. It's like, why? Like you're gonna take a $200 gecko and pair it to $1,000 gecko, and it's the same thing with the Bo Wellens crosses. It's like, are you doing that because you just couldn't afford the other half of that equation? So that's like the best thing you got.
Did you see the Dumerals and Sanzinia cross? I was like, why would you take?
Is that a thing?
someone crossed the Dumerals and a
Oh,
Sanzinia. I'm like, why would you take a beautiful snake like a Sanzinia and make it look like crap?
Well, especially when you have people who are struggling to produce Sanzinia by themselves, let alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point, I
Yuck.
draw a line, and it's like now it's just goofy. It's not my thing, you
It's
know. I
Like
don't.
the angry balls. Like you've got an Angolan python, which in my opinion is a fantastic python.
Yeah.
And you're gonna cross it with a ball python to make it smaller and uglier. Like why?
Right, you're not improving on either one of those things.
I feel like if you're doing a hybrid, it should be improving on the overall look, coloration, pattern, a little bit of everything. You should be making a cool, pretty snake. Why would you want to take something that's so beautiful and like here's this poop brown snake that's pattern looks like crap. Here you go.
Yeah, like at least the Carpondros look cool as
Right.
shit.
Exactly.
Like that's a
Are the
cool
only
looking
ones I
snake.
can really
dude.
sort of get
Incredible,
behind, but it's not something I'm really gonna go out of my
No.
way to do myself.
No.
But you know, at least you're still within the realm of, you know, relation to one another. You're still in that ballpark.
Yep.
But like blood pythons to balls, things, goofy stuff like that. It's like, what's the? I don't see the point. I don't get, like, okay, you made it, and then what? You know,
Now what?
like,
Now what are you
because
doing?
at that point you're just doing it just to say you could and see how wacky we can get with some of this stuff. It's just kind of, I don't know, whatever. If that's what people want to do, go for it. Go nuts.
Whatever floats your boat.
That's right.
But in this episode, we are joined by Mr. Gabe Shuler. Thank you for coming on such short notice, buddy. Really appreciate it.
We've talked about it like off and
yeah.
on for a while now.
Yeah.
It just hasn't
for sure.
happened.
But as we hinted at earlier, Gabe is a fellow South Carolinian, along with Mr. Smith Eye and myself. So always good. He's actually not that far away. You're only in Charleston, right?
Yeah, I'm on the other side of Charleston. I'm like halfway between Charleston and Myrtle Beach, so like two
Okay.
2.5 hours. Yeah, not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah, cool.
He got one of my green trees.
I do. She is
really?
calmest Biak I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
Which is just hilarious knowing who their dad is, because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that dude's a heat-seeking freaking missile, dude. It's
Just
wild.
I could kiss this thing on the lips.
Mine,
right
yeah, my holdback's the same way, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like my buddies don't believe me. They'll be like, "Why? But what do you mean you can like kiss this thing on the mouth if you want to? It's a Biak." And I'm like, no. Come here.
You don't understand.
There was a couple from that clutch that went to some friends where they were like, yeah, this thing's pretty fiery, but for the most part, everyone had what they got was pretty mellow. Like the difference between those F1s and those, you know, those imported adults is pretty night and day.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. But Gabe's also a naturalist, and fun fact, we also went to the same college.
I was telling Steve. Yeah.
which was wild. So yeah, we've been talking to Gabe for, apparently Justin's known him a little longer than I have, but Gabe and I have been talking a little bit more recently. So excited to get this episode in the books. So Gabe, why don't you kind of give us the background, man, how you got into reptiles and all that. Give us the Cliff Notes version or the long version. We gotta let you all decide. So tell us about yourself, man. How did all this come about?
So it's a miracle I grew up liking snakes. I grew up in a family that, the only good snake's a dead snake. But I also grew up in the middle of the national forest, which is where I still live. Hard place to leave from. Beautiful area. And so growing up in the woods as a kid in the middle of nowhere, there's not a lot of other kids to play with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, of course, like everybody else out in the woods, catching critters. And I think what really, really kicked it off for me is I actually went to a private school when I was young, when I was in elementary. And they had a presenter come out, and the presenter came out and brought mostly reptiles and amphibians. And I was probably first, second grade. And the guy calls me down out of everyone in the Jim, calls me down at the bleachers, says, "Hey kid, you want to come hold this baby alligator for me?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to come hold this alligator for you." Here's little, 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old me, like, all right. And then he looks at me and goes, "Here, let's swap them out. Here, kid, why don't you hold the corn snake?" So you guys would like that. My first snake I held was a corn snake.
Same.
And yeah, and from there on, I was every book I could get my hands on, begging mom and dad for lizards and geckos and frogs. My grandma got me my first bearded dragon. I was never allowed to own snakes as a kid, but that didn't stop me from trying to sneak them in. My dad, well, I'll never forget the time he got really upset at me for losing a rough green snake in the house. He said, "Boy, if I find that snake in my bed one night, just know that's your butt." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes,
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
I'm
That's
so lucky I never had that issue with my parents. Like, I never had a problem with my parents being like, "No, you can't have a snake."
oh no. I grew up a lot like Gabe did. My mom not so much, but my dad was only good snakes and dead snakes, hated snakes, would swerve to go kill a cottonmouth on the road, all that stuff. He hated it. And so when did you actually get your first, legal snake in your household?
So funny story. Right after college, I was renting the spare room from my dad,
Mhm.
being a poor college kid, and me and my wife had met around that time, and shortly after, she ran into issues where she was going to either have to move or move in with me. So she moved in. We rented the spare room, and like his one stipulation was, "I don't care what reptiles you have, no snakes." Of course, I was like, "That's not going to fly." So I'm like, "I've got a whole closet you never go in." And so slowly, tanks showing up in the closet. I kept ball pythons in tubs under my bed.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget one day he came in there, and I thought I was being smart. And I put a kind of a tank kind of over in the corner with my Western hognose snake. And it was a small tank, right? She's always hiding. I just kind of put some plants on the shelf in front of it. I'm like, he'll just think it's a lizard. I remember coming home and he's like, "So you got a snake, huh?"
They're like, "What are you talking about?"
"What are you talking about, Dad? That's a legless lizard." And he goes,
Also, not a lie.
Technically, no. And he's like, "Boy, you don't think I know what a snake looks like when I see a snake?" And I'm like, "All right, you got me." I was like, "But Dad, it's just a little hog nose." Meanwhile,
Look
I've
at how
got
cute
What?
it is. We can put
meanwhile,
top
I've
hats on it.
meanwhile, I've got others in the closet and under the bed. And and he just finally was like, "You know what? It's not venomous." He's like, just don't let it get out. He's like, "I swear to God, if it gets out, we're gonna have issues." I was like, "I promise it's not gonna get out." And so he kind of chilled out after that. And then several years of renting the spare room from there, me and the wife finally saved up, got our house, and first thing I did was set the reptile room up.
It's funny because when we were shopping, that was like one of the things for me, especially. I was like, I really don't care what our house has, but like a room that I saw working with my stuff was like top tier for me. So like we were shopping around and I was like, this is the one. There's one we were looking at that had like a sunroom that was like the perfect size. So it was like,
Oh
this is it.
man.
This is it. Right around the corner from the one we're at now. And she's like, "No, I don't like it." And I'm like, "No, that's the one. That's my favorite."
No, I think it's good. I think it's really, really
Yeah, I mean, then we ended up finding this one, and I like it. My room's small, but
Don't
it does
feel
the job.
bad.
But yeah, that was a big part of the shopping part for me for in house hunting was like, does it have a good room for snakes?
I too
yeah.
have a small reptile room. You can stand in mine, do a 360, and see everything.
Yeah, that was, because I rent still, because I'm a poor man, and
Well, you're not
but
poor, you're broke. Poor means you're starving. Broke just means
yeah, bro, yeah, I'm just
I
broke.
won't even say you're broke because I think me and Gabe probably got in at the right time before like shit hit the fan with interest rates and stuff.
That's
Because
a good
like
point.
I look at the market now and like what people are spending on houses, and I'm like, we made the right choice to buy when we did. Because oh my god,
Dude,
Yeah.
it was 2 years after, and I looked at how much because I'm in a mobile home, and temporary was supposed to be temporary until we buy the actual home, and then housing prices just
Yeah.
through the roof. But my house went up by like 30 grand 2
Yeah.
years later, and I was like, holy crap, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
we would make a decent amount off of ours if we sold it right now. Like
Oh, yeah.
we would easily make
Oh,
100 grand more than what we paid for it.
yeah.
But the problem is like
Getting a different one.
we wouldn't be able to afford anything else.
Yeah,
Like even
exactly.
with that extra money, like houses are so expensive right now, it wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
laughable. Like
Doesn't pay to even sell right now if you're trying to move here.
Don't move here. We're
we'd be
full.
the richest homeless people ever.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so expensive. Like I was looking and I live in Berkeley County, but I'm right on the Charleston County line.
Mm.
And Berkeley and Charleston County are the top two most expensive counties to live in the state. And prices are ridiculous.
I'm sure Buford's right behind y'all.
I think it's Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester, and then Buford.
Yeah. It's rough, man. It's real rough. But yeah, no, when we were looking for a place to rent, I mean, it was fighting tooth and nail to get a place to rent. And then of course my ass is like, because me and my girlfriend, live with my best friend, and so I was like, we could find all kinds of 2 bedrooms. I was like, we have to have 3. Like, I'm sorry, like it's just it's required unless you want snakes in the master bedroom, which with us, but they won't fit.
Your bed like I did,
So,
man. It's okay.
yeah, no. I was like, no, I
Well, that's the
gotta
other
have a room.
the other
Need
issue
a third
too
room.
is like in Buford in particular, because we have the Parris Island and the Marine Corps, the Air Base and the Marine Corps Recruit Depot. Rent is insane because all these
Yeah.
people that own these houses around here know that the Marines get a housing allowance.
Yep.
And so they know they can just jack that price up because they know how much they get. Like I think that's public information. That's not like a secret or
Yeah.
anything. And so if you're not in the military and you're around here and you're trying to rent and you want something like
Good luck.
decent, it's really tough because we were thinking about renting before we bought because me and Katie weren't living together. And I told her, I was like, we just might as well go ahead and buy, like rent's so crazy. Like we can get a mortgage for cheaper than rent and
Yeah.
by a decent margin, by several $100s a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I really lucked out with my place. So the place that I rent now, I've rented from the people before, like they own a million houses around here. And I've rented from them before, and they knew I was really good about paying rent on time, never caused any problems or anything. So when it was time to, for me to, get another place, I was just up their ass, dude. And I was calling them every week, like, hey, you got something ready? They're like, we're still fixing up this house, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, next week. I'm like, you
Was
got,
it the same
is it
people that
ready?
had the house on
It's really hard to find someone to rent from that's like okay with you having snakes in the house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no one bats an eye at a kid. Like my snake's not going to finger paint poop on the wall, okay?
Yeah.
But your 3-year-old will.
Yeah. No, and it was funny the way that came up. So I've rented 2 other places from these people before, and they told me straight away, they were like, you have to pay a pet deposit for dogs and cats, but cage pets are fine. And I was like, word, like, and that was in the other 2 places where I had a lot less numbers and all that, so I didn't say anything. When we got this place, things expanded a lot, and I was like, okay, I should probably mention this just to make sure we're good. So I asked her while we were, going in to sign the lease, basically, and I was like, by the way, you said cage pets are fine, right? And she's like, yeah. Then she goes, wait, what kind of cage pets? And I was like, snakes? And
Chupacabras.
and she was like, oh no, that's fine. She was like, I'm just making sure because I had somebody trying to keep a tiger in one of my houses. So I was like, nope, nothing like that, just snakes. She goes, okay, yeah, that's fine. Then she goes, wait, how many? And I was like, I don't know. And she was like, okay, that means a lot. No, you're fine. And I was like, yes, like we're good. So
Was that the same people that owned that house on Cypress when you were living there?
no,
No.
no, not that one. That was just a one-off random
Yeah.
kind of thing. We moved in with people that were already there, and yeah, no, that was different. But yeah, I've had 2 places with these guys, and they're the cheapest rent in Beaufort for the most part, and I got a 3-bed, 2-bath house with a garage, and pretty
I
affordable.
wish I had a garage to put snakes in to cool outside, man.
Oh, dude, it's great. It's like a, I think it's a 1 car, but it's a big 1 car. So like all my bullshit goes in there, my
I think
bike's
it's
in
bigger
there.
than mine.
Yeah, it's a
Mine's
pretty good sized
definitely-
garage.
Dude,
I keep my motorcycle in there, all my extra snake crap, and then I still have room to like cool down all my stuff. It's great, man. It's
I
great.
actually took my my kings. I've got some Chesapeake locality Easterns and
Yeah.
some Brooks king snakes. I love my meth propeltus. You know, I just love them. Addicted to them things. Isn't that right, Smitty?
I like chain
Huh?
kings. I don't have any issue with Easterns. I like them. If I was going to keep any of those,
Even
that
though those are
group,
just
it'd be
as
Easterns.
messy as the Callies.
Yeah.
My
Well,
worst one
it's
I
the
have
Brooks
is
and the
the
Floridas that I'm
Justin.
yeah.
Yeah.
I literally got that Eastern I got from you years back, Justin. Hands down, the worst one.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get the big boy?
I think it was a female, isn't it?
Was it
No,
the big one though?
Male. It's looking at me right now through the tub like, hey, give me your fingers. Hold on.
Was it an adult when you got it?
Yeah, it was an adult. Actually,
Yeah.
Justin, how do you know how old this thing is? Because like I'm pretty sure he's old as crap. Quit coming for me to bite me.
Yep, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Was
Was that the one your dad had?
that was one of the ones my dad had, yeah. It
Yeah.
was one of the part of his pair.
I remember that big
don't
one he
remember.
had that was just a freaking diesel of a
Yeah.
king snake, dude.
So this guy gets a little nutty when I'm in here feeding other stuff and tries to eat himself. It's every time. So like the last like 2-3 inches of his tail is like all roughed up because he always tries to eat himself. And I'm like, I swear this thing's got like,
How do they survive?
it's
How have
like
those things survived as long as they have? It's
I don't
ridiculous.
know. Well, he's the only one that does it. I'm like, I bet he's got like snake dementia.
Something.
Yeah. Well, now that we've gone off topic a whole lot, back to you, Gabe. No, definitely not your fault.
Listen, I'm ADHD as hell. I don't know about you guys. Look at Justin. He's already looking around like, huh? What?
We're
No.
getting old if we're talking about the housing market. That's
Oh yeah.
you know how you're
yeah.
approaching the 30s and stuff once you
Well, that's actually a good question, Gabe. How old are you?
I'll be 31 in January.
Ah, yeah.
Damn.
Okay, Mister. What are you? Almost 40 now, Justin?
No, I turned 33 this month, bitch. I'm not scared of aging. I don't know why everyone's so worried about it. It's like
you want to get old. You
happen
can't wait
whether
for
you
the
want it
day
to
that
or
you're
not.
the old guy sitting on his porch in his rocking chair, holding his friggin' rhino rat snake.
In my cigar in one hand, running around in the other.
So Jake, barons or rhinos, man?
Barons.
Oh,
It's
you're
not.
wrong.
Don't even.
You're
Don't
wrong.
even have to, I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
I'm not. No, not at all. They're fantastic. It's not even a question, man.
Oh man, listen.
It's not even a question. It's
To each their own. As long as you don't keep a bunch of cart balls, we're good.
More for me.
The only thing that I'll give rhinos. So it was on a Colubrid and Colubroid episode. I can't remember which one, but this guy had somebody. I think it was Matt talking about it. May have been somebody else. I don't know. No, I think it was Terry. It was Terry Burwell's episode, and Terry was talking about how somebody messaged him, being like, "Hey, can I keep a Barons and a Rhino together?" Terry was like, "No, don't do that. Like the Barons will more than likely eat the Rhino." And basically one thing led to another. And guy was like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways." And so he kept them together, and he messaged Terry back, and he was like, "You were right, but you were also wrong." He said the Rhino ate the Barons. I was like, "Well, I guess that's a point for rhinos."
Oh man. Oh
So,
I
man.
mean, I will say when it comes to food, like rhinos do get to like kink snake levels of crazy with food.
dude, have you even fed your barons? You were just doing it wrong because, dude, barons are absolute psychopaths for food. Mine are nut jobs, like full on. The only thing that they don't bite you, which is great. It's the difference between them and king snakes. But, dude, my barons are nut jobs for food. You know, and I know skies are too, man. It's just, you know, barons are just better. Just yeah.
You know, everyone's entitled to their own wrong opinions.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Last I
That's
checked,
fine.
when Sky was doing that podcast, he was wearing a rhino shirt,
Maybe wearing a rhino shirt, but he still said barons are better.
but he was wearing the shirt.
And
So
he
if
does,
he
but he
loved the Barons
doesn't
that much. He
doesn't
would
own.
All I can think of right now is y'all remember the Starburst commercial? It's a contradiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, to each their own. They're both cool. You know, I won't take anything away from rhinos. You know, I've held Smitties and they're cool. They're a green ball python that just sits there, but you know, it's fine. I like snakes that move. So
One of us has kept both.
you had one for like 2 months.
I had it for like 6 to 9 months,
Yeah, well,
and I wasn't impressed.
it's because you had it in a massive cage that was basically empty, and it hit
It
all
was
the time.
not. It
Yes,
was in a
I
cold tube and everything.
I judged your enclosure so hard on that snake. I'm
You
not
never
gonna
said
lie.
a word to me about it
Yes,
until now.
yes, I did.
No,
Yes,
you
I
didn't.
did. Yes, I did. I
I would
remember
have
saying
remembered.
something. No, you just didn't care about it as much because it was the Barons. Put more effort into your rhinos. That's all it comes down to.
That's weird because
Cages. Did you guys see what I posted earlier with the lightning thunderstorm effect I did on the trim cage?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I've been messing around with recreating a thunderstorm in the enclosure, and I think I finally got it down pat. I still have to initiate the sound and the light manually to do it, but once I turn it on and play the sound bite on my phone, it goes. But it looks awesome.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Well, what's the current collection?
Yeah. What was your collection?
I know you got a green tree. I know you got some king snakes. And
My problem is I like everything.
Yeah.
I definitely have my niche things that I like. Like I love Morelia, you know. I love anything with rattles. And I love pretty snakes that sit on sticks. And then I love my Lamprepeltis, you know. So I did recently from your buddy Preston, actually, that you put me in contact with. I picked up one of the Juvie Everglades from him.
Nice.
Actually, is going to pair with my male here. Actually, let me see if he's out right now. He's pretty cool.
You got one of the het emails or you got an email?
Het email.
Nice.
Here, come here, bud. And this is the male. I'm a very big fan of just the natural look of Everglades because they're stunning snakes.
Yeah,
But
sure.
here, let me put the light on. That would probably help. So this is
that's this year's baby?
This is a last year's baby a friend of mine. The lights don't do it justice in this room. They really suck. But this thing is legit like pumpkin orange.
Yeah.
I feel like unless you're holding Everglades, sort of, you're looking at them right in front of you, like no pictures or video ever do them justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
just nuance to
you
them.
You got to get them in sunlight.
That too.
To really get it out.
So there's this older breeder in the area. It's JB Reptiles. It's John Buscemi, Buscemi, and he's at pretty much every reptile show in the area. Been breeding colubrids, breeds beautiful colubrids.
Who is it?
For years. It's John. Oh, it's JB Reptiles. It's John Buscemi, I think.
Is he on like Instagram or anything?
No, this guy's like super old. I don't think he has. Yeah.
It sounds familiar for some reason.
But I mean, you know, he's been breeding colubrids longer than we've all been alive. And he always has the prettiest animals. And, you know, I don't go to reptile shows often anymore. I get from breeder friends of mine and stuff. But every now and then when one's local, I'll swing in, pick up some light bulbs and stuff like that. And almost every time John has a table there, and almost every time I end up buying something from John because he just produces the best.
Yeah.
So that's who I got that male Everglades from. And then, like I said, I got the female from Preston, and she's in her hide right now. She just ate, so I'm not gonna mess with her.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool, man. Yeah, no, Preston produced some hitters this year, man.
Yeah,
It's a really good.
Did you get some of those corns from him?
Not yet. He hadn't gotten them eating yet. So I didn't
I
pick
got
them
you.
up, but I am getting a pair. So those will be cool.
And they'll be really cool with those.
Not Castagna.
So collection wise,
yeah. What's your?
gotta look around and count, but I've got the sibling to Justin's pine snake. Yeah, he's great. I actually use him for an educational animal. He's about to get upgraded into a big enclosure. Oh, where's the camera? Come here, bud.
Oh yeah, that was the first one you got from Tony, Justin.
That's from that same clutch, yeah.
Yeah, the first one you got.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So
Yeah.
he's cool.
Mine was donated to Cold Blooded Caffeine, so they could do educational stuff with them too. So
yeah, nice.
Yep, I use him for outreach events all the time.
Yeah, mine was super mellow, man. That was a great
super
snake.
Dude.
Super easy to handle and deal with.
He doesn't even hiss. I'm kind of sad that he doesn't hiss because that's the iconic thing. I'm like, come on, just once.
Mine got huffy and puffy like twice, and that was it.
Dude, I've got my female northern pine is just a freaking dick, dude. Which is weird because northerns are known to be really, calm snakes. My male, I can reach right in and grab him. He's fine. The female, dude, oh my god, I was changing her water today, and she just, just that big, hiss from down below. She's little. She's, only a year old. Something like that.
I mean, little year-old pine snakes aren't,
they're not that small.
They're not that small,
Yeah.
I remember Tony handed me this thing, and he was like, "Yeah, it was hatched like in August, and I picked it up like a few months after it was hatched," and I was just like, "This thing's like 2 foot long. What do you mean it was hatched in August?"
Yeah, dude. That I have. I've got a male Southern from Tony, is a sibling just a year after from the one you have, and he could eat jumbo mice if I wanted him to. I feed him larger right now, but dude, he's huge. He's a year old. He's huge.
You guys want to see one of the biggest and prettiest eastern hog noses you'll probably ever see?
Oh, dude, I saw the pictures you posted of that thing.
All right, come here, sweetheart. You hear?
Oh yeah.
Don't you poop on me.
Don't you poop on me. Lord have mercy.
Oh. Like it's as long as my arm. Its tail goes up from my neck.
That's a beast.
Yeah, dude. That is so pretty. And you've got it. He's eating mice, or
this thing eats mice, chicks, whatever I feed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
It's almost like a weird, like half melanistic.
It is.
It's almost like an anery.
Yeah, it's a crazy looking pattern. This one, so this was produced by oh god, I know his name.
Kevin Fisher.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's
the only guy producing Eastern.
The only guy, yeah, I think I know of one other guy producing them, and that's it.
Matthew Dove.
Yep.
Matthew
Dove. Does Dove do some too?
Yeah, he's got Easterns. I don't know if he's got melanistic ones, but he produces Easterns.
Well, you know what's funny is most of the ones in my area are melanistic. I've never seen an adult with color here ever. I've never seen a wild adult hognose with color.
I haven't either. All the ones I found here are jet black. I found the one. You found colored Easterns?
I've seen like one melanistic Eastern, and that was actually in high school on the school property. Everything else I found was colored in like a normal, if that's what you want to call it. But some of them were more like yellow, and some were just that screaming orange. Just
dude, those orange, or what they call them, the Halloween phases, are just stunning.
I take the black ones over any of them though, man. Especially that yours, like the pattern black.
Yeah, no, that pattern
Yeah,
black is like I would take mine over a
Mm.
Halloween any day.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would take a Halloween over a solid black any day. And here's my reason why. There's so many other snakes that look so much better as solid black animals than a hognose. Like
I think
solid,
it's just that matte black though.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I've got those are the educational animals. I've got that Eastern King. I've got the Chesapeake locality Eastern Kings. I've got 2.2. No, I've got 2.1 Brooks Kings. I've got the pair of Everglades rats. I've got I think it might be a pair. I haven't sexed them yet. But some juvenile corn snakes, local corn snakes that kind of, hey, someone brought it to me in a peanut butter jar. Like, hey, I found this in my garage.
Dude.
And I was like, oh, this one's actually pretty. And I don't have an educational corn snake. And then like a week later, hey, I found this in my garage. And I was like, okay. I've got like 6 ball pythons of assorted morphs. The wife really likes them, so I've held onto them as long as I have.
Yeah. You can. Everybody uses that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to say you like ball
I've
python.
only
My
got one
wife or it's my
python
kids.
that I'm attached to. The rest of them are kind of like, I've got 2 green tree pythons, both Beox. I picked one up to pair with Justin's, and surprise, it's a female. So I have 2 females, no males. Still need to get a male. I've got 3 Poplin carpet pythons.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, my male Poplin I have is just screaming orange. It's oh god. That's what I like is that high orange flaming with the yellow is just
The yellows, man. The yellows really do it for me. My holdback. Did you see the picture I put on my story? My holdback.
it's stunning.
Yeah, dude, that thing is just
Um,
out of this world. I can't wait to put him back to mom in 2 years.
I've got one that's a oh god, he's y'all's friend. Nick Mutton. I've got one Nick Mutton line. One is a F1 that was produced by a friend of mine, and the other one is a juvenile that was a wild import.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. I've got a wild caught animal. I've got an F1 that's going to her in probably 2 years. Then some stuff I produced, and then my original parents from my holdbacks.
Yeah, my females still have a couple of years to go for their breeding size, so I got some time.
If you want some yellows to throw into that project, man, I'm hopefully going to produce some.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I love Poplins. Like out of all the carpet pythons, Poplins.
They're the best.
Yes, they're the best.
You might be wrong about rhinos, but at least you have good taste in carpets.
I have great taste in carpets. I have here. I'll show you this really pretty one. So this was a rescue. I actually used her for it. I also, in the past, not so much anymore. I used to do a lot of reptile rescues, rehabilitations, and then rehoming. Someone called me, hey, I've got this bearded dragon. It's dying. I don't know what to do with it. Get in, get it better, find it a good home. And I haven't done that much in the past few years just because time, money, and other projects and stuff.
Yeah.
But someone called me up this early in the spring of this year and said, hey, someone in the middle of BFE has a carpet python they don't want anymore. And I was like, oh yeah? It's like, I'm kind of curious to see what it is. Do you want it? Sure, I'll go pick it up. And I pulled up, and this poor thing was in like an aquarium tank on the front porch with a curtain rod stretched across the middle of it, a heat pad with no regulator underneath it. There was like an inch of poop and water in the bottom. It was just sitting in. There was one dead floating mouse about yay big, and then one live mouse in there chewing on her tail. Had mouse bites all over. This thing had like 2 layers of stuck shed. I was like, oh my God, it's going to die on me. I'm like, so I took it back.
Oh my God.
It was so weak it couldn't wrap its tail around my arm. It had no strength. It was skin and bones. I was like, this thing's going to die tomorrow. And miraculously, here we are like 9 months later. And she is the sweetest carpet python I've ever had. Doesn't hiss, doesn't bite, super mellow. She's fully healed. When she shed that last shed, I was like, oh my God, this doesn't even look like the same snake.
Yeah.
So, you know, without knowing genetics, you don't really know quite what it is, but I'd say it looks quite jungly.
Yeah, that's the one I think it is. I remember you sending me pictures when you got it, and after she had healed up some, and I think there's definitely some jungle in there.
I don't know that it's pure jungle, but
yeah,
Oh wow.
it's a good looking snake.
And this is just in, you know, crappy room lights.
Based on that, I would say it might even have some diamond blood in it.
I thought it looked kind of like it might have had like a jungle diamond.
Yeah, it's got that look. Obviously, it's hard to tell, and you know, in that lighting.
Wild to me that someone would get a snake this nice and just neglect the shit out of it.
Yeah,
that is beautiful. And yeah, it doesn't even look like it was traumatized for only 9 months ago. That's
no. I mean,
wow.
Like, I thought this thing was gonna die.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, it definitely has that diamond jungle look to him. Definitely heavy on the jungle, but yeah, it kind of looks like some of the gamma stuff that I've seen.
It reminded me a little bit of it. I wish I could remember the info of the people who had it so I could try to find the breeder. But like I said, without knowing, I don't plan on breeding her. She's just for educational purposes.
No.
But it'd still be cool to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I've got the 2 green tree pythons. I'm just trying to name all the stuff before I get into the venomous. That's the really cool stuff. You guys will find out one day. I've got an emerald, but it's not here right now. It's out on breeding loan. But I've got a really nice high white northern emerald. And crossing my fingers that him and his new girlfriend get to know each other real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be sick, man.
Oh yeah. And then I've got my little leopard gecko, and I've got little Chilean rosehair tarantula that I use for education. And then pretty much I've got 2 western hognoses.
Okay.
Peter and Piper, my wife's snakes. They're her favorites. Poor Piper, he's like an old, like cataract up western hog. It was the wife loves them. It's crazy that hognose snake that she's taking care of is the one was my first snake to build this collection years back when I was sneaking snakes in my dad's house, renting the room from him. So that snake, when I bought it, oh God, 8 years ago, something like that. It's a red phase western hognose snake. You guys go ahead and take a guess how much I paid for it.
Okay, 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
Well, it kind of depends. Like it was either $100 or it was $300. It was somewhere in that ballpark, but I'm gonna guess because you got the look that you have. I'm gonna guess it was either free or $50.
$30.
$30
was what the going rate for those red phases were, and if I would have known where the hognose market would have been today, I would have bought that whole clutch. Yep.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man. The hognoses are hot right now, dude.
Dude, I remember a time when everyone was like, hognoses will never be to the point of ball pythons, and now it's like, oh, you guys were wrong.
Yeah, man, they're hot right now in Daytona, man. There were so many tables with all kinds of hogs, and some of them were astronomically priced. But I've got a pretty.
It's like
I've got a small group. I've got a small group built up, but I got some heat, and I'm pretty stoked about. That's my little morph project.
Nice. All right, everyone's a little gay.
That's funny. No, they're cool, man. I got some pretty neat ones. They're all small. I also have they're not the only morphs I have though. I have locality morphs of several rat snakes now.
Dude, I love looking at your locality rat snake posts. Like you're killing it with the locality rats. Like that's the thing is like locality rat snakes and locality king snakes are my jam.
Oh yeah, dude.
I love them.
Dude, I'm up to 11 yellow types alone.
Really?
Just yellow types. I'm up to.
You posted those Seminole counties, dude. Listen, like that's a beautiful rat snake.
Yeah, bad to the bone, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm up to like 11 different yellow type localities, county specific alone. I'm up to
County greenish.
They're still yellows. They're still yellows.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't. I actually, yeah, I have Pender County, North Carolinas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just got those recently. So if you're gonna call something a green, then
listen,
yeah.
I could show you some right now from the area that like are like almost clover green.
Yeah, are those the ones that your work has?
Yeah, some of the babies off of that. Yeah, I mean,
Do you still have any of those?
I do. Actually.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
Yeah,
I know. I said no before, but
I will have to. We held one back since the male's getting old to put on display.
Yeah,
I'll have to take a picture of Clover because Clover gets its name.
Yeah. But you guys still have babies?
Yeah, we still got a few. We're waiting until spring to go turn them loose. Giving them.
You're turning.
Well, since they're local,
you
know.
Yeah.
Just head start them, turn them loose.
Yeah. Nice. Cool, man. Well, if you want any of them to go to a really good home.
Yeah, man, I got you.
Let me know.
You.
I might do it. I was gonna hold out because I'm like, if I get a South Carolina locality, kind of wanted to be from here, but
yeah, man. I'll send you some.
What's two South Carolina localities?
Yeah, you could never have enough rat snakes.
No, especially yellows.
Yeah, no,
can't.
Yeah.
No, there's never enough.
So with the venomous, I've got. What are you doing, bud? Sorry, my gecko. Oh, okay. You're starting to shed. My gecko was sticking his head out of his little cave, kind of doing like this and acting weird. And I was like, "Oh, he's rubbing
Having
his
a seizure."
Yeah, I was like, "Are you like?" Yeah,
having a moment.
Yeah. Hey, bud. All right, so let's see. I've got a little subadult ornate black-tailed rattlesnake.
Yeah.
I've got the speckled rattlesnakes right behind me. I've got 3 white phase, a pinkish, and then a pinkish orange one.
Do you cohab those?
I do cohab those. Yep. Typically, what I'll do first if I'm going to cohab something, I keep an eye on them for a little while just to make sure nothing happens. I add individuals one at a time. And then especially with the females, you don't want them to be overbred. And so what I've noticed with these guys, and the female, before I got them, the females with each pair were housed together most of their lives. And unless you initiate a cooling, there's really not a whole lot of breeding activity going on. I cooled them this past year. Excuse me. They bred. Don't think I got them cold enough. But I also think it might have been because the female, at least the one female, had a couple babies like a couple of years prior when my buddy had them. And so, a lot of these rattlesnake species only reproduce every 2 to 3 years. And so I think that could have been it. Like I said, I also might not have gotten cold enough long enough because I cooled them down outside. So I think I'll probably give them a year off. And then next year, probably try cooling them down pretty hard.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you cohab all 5 of them together?
have all 5 of them together.
Wow. I'm
I
sure
do not feed all 5 of them together.
that was going to be a follow-up question in
Yeah,
a little bit. Like, how do you feed
that's
all
what
those?
takes me the longest on venomous feeding day is I have to take each individual out, put them in a tub with the mouse to eat, and then put them back. Just because not that I'm worried about them hurting each other, biting each other, but more so like one trying to, Lady and the Tramp a rat with the other one.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I've got a Arizona black rattlesnake. It's actually one of the lightest ones I've ever seen, and of course, the one I got never changes color. I was so excited, and it never changes color. I've got a blue and Solaris. I've got a Mexican cantil. He's really cute.
Dude, those are, oh my God. Like those are probably the only not United States venomous that I really, really want.
All right, Jake, I'm gonna show it to you. Let me cut this light.
Oh man, you go pull them out.
I ain't gonna pull them out, but he's actually right behind you.
There you go. Yeah, bring us to him. Man, that is so cool.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a garbage disposal. He eats whatever I put in front of him. Oh, looks like he pooped there, bud. I gotta clean that up. Oh, and if you look in his poop, there's one of his fangs.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually the first one of his fangs I found. Cool. He's actually really cool. He great temperament. Like you would think, being an Echistrodon, he'd be all, but he's really not. He's one of the chillest snakes I have. Very food motivated though. But other than that, he's just very curious. He's looking around. He's looking at you. He's like, "Hey, you gonna feed me today?"
I've heard those things in general are just fucking nut jobs.
I've heard mixed things.
Dude, this cantil is like the easiest snake. I mean, it's honestly, you ever hooked a cottonmouth and they just kind of sit there on the hook and look at you?
Rarely.
Oh, well.
that's
I don't know. You just got bad luck when it comes to Echistrodon, man. Like,
yeah, no.
Echistrodon are known for not riding a hook.
Yeah.
This guy rides a hook just fine. He's honestly, I got lucky with him. He's like super chill.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. I've got, let's see, what else do I have? Oh, this was a gift from a friend of mine. Oops, that's a
Sterilite.
Nice.
Is that an eyelash?
It's a baby eyelash. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
man.
So this one was born with a little birth defect. You can kind of see her brow, her lashes on one side didn't like fully form.
Okay.
So it kind of looks like she's giving you like the squint, like the. And so being looking like a one-eyed venomous snake, I had to name it Ellie. From.
Yeah.
Please tell me you know the movie reference.
Kill Bill. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. And then I've got a little lep over here. That's been the bane of my existence. He's great now, but this thing's only, I don't know. Oh, this camera.
Yeah, it's like reversed. It's weird.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's like 8 inches long and it's only 3 years old. So the guy who had it before me got it and couldn't get it eating. And the only thing it would eat would be ground skinks and anoles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he would put it into cooling every winter because it wasn't eating. It'd eat like a few lizards a year. And then finally my buddy was like, "Hey, I'm tired of catching ground skinks for this thing. Do you want it?" I was like, "Sure, man." And then I ended up having to feed anoles for a year until it finally took a pinky for me. And now that it's eating pinkies, it's like doubled in size from when I got it. And I'm just like, maybe you will grow. I'm curious to see if it does get full size or if its growth's going to be a little stunted.
Yeah.
But I don't really plan on breeding it. I just have it because it's cool. I mean,
Yeah, they're awesome.
It's the Tamaulipan
Oh,
locality.
yeah.
Like that steely blue gray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
it's
another
hard-
one, man. If I like any of the rock stuff, be it clobs or leps or it just
rock rattlers
can't go wrong.
They're one of my favorites.
I'm right there with you for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got, and then I think the only other real things I have are the two big rattlers. I've got the Batwing hybrid, and then I've got an Eastern Diamondback. And they're both about 12 years old.
Wow.
So for anybody who doesn't know, what is the Batwing?
The Batwing is a cross or a hybrid between the Eastern Diamondback and the canebrake rattlesnake. So Crotalus adamantius crossed with Crotalus horridus.
Mm-hmm.
And it does actually occur naturally on
Atricaudatus. It's real.
Agreed.
That's a shirt that's not on the website.
I really want one of those shirts.
Atricaudatus, I want to believe.
Can you make me one?
I need to put it on the I'll put it on the website and I'll get one made.
Thank you.
Yes. But yeah, they're pretty cool. I love the Diamondbacks, man. Actually I do a lot of conservation work outside of work with a couple different organizations. And the main one I actually do a lot of my work with outside of my 9-to-5 job are these guys right here. The Amphibian and Reptile Conservancy.
Yeah.
And so they do great work. I'm very grateful that I met up with these guys and I've been able to be a part of that organization for as long as I have. I've been, helping them, volunteering with them, doing volunteer conservation work for, going on like 5 years now, 6 years, since like 2017, I think 2018, somewhere around there. It's like 5 years. And they do great work. Their project that kind of started them out actually was the radio telemetry for the small isolated population of Eastern Diamondbacks in the Francis Marion.
Okay.
And so, being that Eastern Diamondbacks are such an iconic species for me, I was like, yeah, I'd love to help conserve them, help protect this species and work towards conservation with them. And so I got in on that and got to help them, do radio telemetry, take genetic samples. What was really cool is getting to weigh the female while she's gravid and then go back, a week later after she's given birth, collect the babies, take them back, take blood samples, take weights, and just getting to see that wild Eastern Diamondback giving birth in a population that's so decimated was just a little ray of hope, in an otherwise dark area of this forest. I mean, it gives you a little bit of hope that hey, you know what? These guys might actually be around after I'm gone. And so doing a lot of work with them, spotted turtle surveys, gopher frog work. And they're based out of mostly the Southeast, but out West as well. They have some ARC members out West working with some of the other species out there, like the oak toads in Texas. And I think they're doing work with heliderms as well. And they do great work. So if you guys are ever interested in checking them out, you can got to do my shameless plug. You can go to arcprotects.org. And they've got also great apparel like these hats and all the donations. It's a 501(c)(3), so all the purchases go towards conservation for the animals. And it's a great organization to get involved with too, to help with conservation in the local area. And I help them with a lot of their outreach events too.
That's really awesome, man.
Yeah, I've had sort of an idea and not really knowing where to start with it. I've been meaning to ask Tony about it, but like a herpetological survey of Ladies Island here,
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome.
because I'm very convinced that there's a handful of species that are extirpated from the island. Like they're not here.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly a herpetofaunal hotspot.
I don't know why you haven't put a drift fence in your backyard and cover boards for corals.
Most of the time, and having to dig the holes, and
Justin,
I've thought about it. Out of my parents' house, especially.
you.
Out of my parents' house for sure.
Yeah.
I've thought about it. I don't know that I'd really find much in my backyard, but probably catch a bunch of moles.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I've been wanting to ask Tony about. I don't know what's required as far as setting that up, or if there has to be like a legitimate reason to do one, or if it's something that could even just be done, by myself or something else. But
Yeah, it's
there's stuff that I just don't think is on the island. It's not here.
If you go back and look at county records, it'd be really neat to compare the old county records, and then over the course of, and as you know, most studies are multi-year studies. Like a good study runs 10 years or more. But man, even just doing a 5-year herpetological study out there and just basically cataloging what you find and comparing it to old notes for the or old sightings for the area.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. You're herping,
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's DORs. Like, there's an example being like pygmy rattlers. Like, we don't have
today.
Yeah, we don't have. I've never seen a DOR pygmy out here, and that's what makes me think that they're just not out here. Because having been here for going on 20 years, I would think that in that span of time, you would see a DOR pygmy.
It's okay.
You're
You're not as good at finding pygmies as me and Jake.
Jake gets out more than I do, so
I do. But see, that is the thing, though, is I know where to find pygmies in our area, and it's not in this county. I think there's certain, not necessarily lines they don't cross, but there is areas that you just don't see them. But with that said, when I was a kid, I had a buddy that swears up and down he saw a pygmy, back in, where I grew up, which is, the backwoods of
Wisconsin.
No, said where I grew up, not where I was born, you turd. But I grew up on the north side of Beaufort. It's just land, a lot of big lots. Yeah, I say that all the time, like north side. But he swears he saw one. I never saw it. I've never seen a DOR out there. But I have found them over in, I guess I'm not going to mention where, just to be safe. But not far from here. But
those and Pituophis. I have found one pine snake on Ladies Island.
So I know somebody has found one on St. Helena.
So it's like, I know they're there, and I know some people there's been sightings of diamondbacks on Ladies Island here.
Y'all are in a great area to find diamondbacks. Like I'm a little jealous because like here, I mean, unless you're radio tracking them, you're not going to find a diamondback.
That's the only way I found them.
Yeah.
Was radio tracking out on one of the.
I had to go down to Beaufort in y'all's area to find my first lifer that was non-radio tracked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even cottonmouths, I've never seen a cottonmouth on Ladies Island here.
What?
Yeah, man. Like Nerodia, no problem. Seen plenty of bandits.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. There's some species that should on paper be prevalent and should exist, but
because they're very prevalent everywhere else in the country.
Yeah, I know. That's what's so weird. That's why I'm really, as far as figuring out how to get some sort of like official survey to figure out what exactly is happening, would be nice.
Yeah. Sounds like we need to do some pond hopping around you and find us a cottonmouth on Ladies Island.
No shortage of copperheads, no shortage of racers. Corn snakes seem to be fairly healthy, even though I don't see those hardly really at all anymore. Yellow rats, there's plenty.
I think the corn population on the island is healthier than anywhere else, personally, because I found corns obviously, but north side it was rare. Well, I say that my mom found one at their old house a year or two ago, thereabouts, before they moved across the field.
I haven't seen an eastern hog in a hot minute.
So I just have to ask, what species are you guys still missing for your South Carolina lifer list?
Unfortunately, it's pretty long. Well, I mean, for South Carolina lifers, I need eastern diamondbacks found naturally. I need coach whips, Pituophis or pine snakes, queen snakes, rainbow snakes.
I feel like the rainbow's like on everyone's list.
So
it's like the unicorn of South Carolina natives.
Yeah.
Rainbows are common. They're just elusive.
They're like mud snakes, like they're not
like on the right weather condition. Like you guys should come out herping with me down here in the summer on a rainy night. I could probably get you a mud snake, black swamp snake, and glossy crayfish snake all in one pass. Like it's a
yeah. Tell me when to be there, and I will be there because I just tell me when. I'll drive. I don't care.
Jake will put you on it,
dude. I'm
not the one saying I'll put him on it. He's saying he's gonna put me on it. So
yeah, man, I got you.
Smitty, I will kill you.
I actually found a DOR rainbow snake today. I've got it.
You're kidding me, dude.
I've seen one live rainbow snake in my life, and I was like,
I've only found one live one, and that was year before last. But I found 2 DORs this year of rainbow snakes.
I think I have a spot where they would pop. So what's the key to those? Is it like heavy rain, like you go out while it's raining type of thing?
Rainbows
flooding?
I'm gonna tell you. So in the wintertime, bright sunny days, this time of year in the 60s, around rivers that contain them. That's the key thing, is they've got to be in those river systems. They eat eels, so there's got to be eels. Sunny mid to high 60s in the wintertime. Sometimes you can catch them coming out to bask, or the other time is typically, I find the best time to find to find rainbows is around March and April. Kind of when it's still that cool spring weather, but it's starting to get up into the 70s in the afternoons.
Yeah.
Nice kind of sunny days. And the next best thing is, if you know rivers that have them, shining for them, man.
Okay.
Go out at night and shine for them. Just walk those riverbanks and shine. They really like a lot of structure. A lot of grassy vegetation, a lot of root cover. Rocks are always a plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your neck of the woods is really good for that. Ours down here, it's not as good because we have rivers, obviously, but most of them are salt. All of them are salt until you get into the north
side. I know I'm someone who found a rainbow snake either last year or the year before, and I've seen multiple posted and texted to me that were found in brackish water in Myrtle Beach.
So yeah, that's all we have here as far as like moving water. We have brackish, and I have one spot that goes along brackish water, but it's only a small section of this road that I cruise, and that's exactly where I've been hoping to find them. I find a lot of Nerodia out there. I find a lot of cottonmouths out there. I haven't found anything like that, but it's my spot that I've been waiting for that rainbow to pop up.
I think I've got, I mean, it's a little bit of driving, but I mean, I've probably got about 6 or 7 rainbow spots that could potentially produce, that have produced, not necessarily for me. And like pretty much when it's the right time of year. Like I said, I should have, if I didn't have to drop some stuff off after work, I probably would have hit one of my spots this afternoon after seeing that DOR rainbow snake. But yeah, I mean, when it's good, you get a couple weeks of it being good. I'm pretty much every day after work. Just spending the afternoon until dark just looking for rainbows, and then I'm lucky if I find one. So yeah, you got to put that's the one thing about looking for those species that are so elusive like that is once you figure out the habitat, figure out the patterns of the animal, you got to put the work in and look.
Playing the odds, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're in the area, you're in the right habitat, you know the food sources there, they're there. You just gotta put the hours in, man.
Sounds like I need to come spend a weekend with you and put in some serious footwork.
Yeah, man. I have a group of buddies of mine that come down every April, and they go herping with me, and I take them out around the forest. And 3 years ago, I think, somewhere around 3 years ago, was one of our best days yet. And in one day, we found 17 species of snakes.
Wow.
It was wild. I'll never beat that day.
No, that's really impressive.
Yeah. It was actually two of the guys' first time come down herping with me, and they were just like, "Oh my god,
spoiled!
This is amazing!" And they came back the next year, and they were like, "We found I still think we found something like 12 species, but they were like,
crazy, man.
They were just like, it was great, but nothing's gonna beat that first year." Oh man, I'm like, y'all got it good that first year. That's one of my best herping days, and it just so happened to be with y'all.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's my record is 17 species in a day.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. I need to go to the northern part of South Carolina and find mole king snakes.
I've got a buddy that's got some spots. I just need to drive up there and look.
Yeah, I had a buddy that I actually went to college with. He's from Pageland, South Carolina, which is way up north.
That's where we get our kazoos molded.
Pageland?
Yep.
Really?
That's where our molder is.
That's funny. But he was from there, and he was doing his internship for school. And he sent me this picture, and he was like, "Hey, man, what kind of snake is this? I've never seen it before." And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "You son of a bitch." Because I zoomed in and I was like, "Oh my god, it's a freaking mole king." I can't believe it. So
I'm missing 8 species in South Carolina. I'm missing Florida green water snake, coral snake, mole king snake, southern hognose snake, eastern milk snake, queen snake, smooth earth snake.
I found, I don't remember if it was, so here we have smooth and rough earth snakes, right? Yeah, I can't remember which one I found.
Not in my area, but
was it smooth or was it rough?
Well, it was actually in Georgetown that I found it.
Actually, it's funny you say that. So there is some records of smooths that area, but only on one spot that I know of. More than likely, you found a rough.
Yeah, I think it was a rough based on the research I did, because I honestly like those micro species. I always have a hard time differentiating. Let me see. I actually have a picture right here. I don't know if you can make that out at all.
That's a snake.
That's a rough.
That's a rough. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured as much. But yeah, so then I need smooths as well.
So you guys are gonna laugh when I tell you what my last species is I'm missing.
Oh God, what is it?
I've never seen a Decay's brown snake.
Dude, what?
So they're not here where I'm. They're I'd have to go into Goose Creek area and all, in the Francis Marion. It's all red bellies.
It's funny you bring that up, because literally a picture.
Dude, I've never found a Decay's. It's one that just eludes me, man.
Yeah, man. So you've got mud snakes crossed off?
I've got mud snakes crossed off, rainbow snake. I've got pine snake, coach whip. Yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm missing those 8. The
That's pretty solid, man. That's real solid. Trying to think. I know there's another time I found.
Simus would be at probably the top of my list.
Yeah, Simus is right.
thing is, like so that's one of the species that ARC actually works closely with and monitors, and I've helped on the surveys looking for them, and I'm in the right areas when I'm doing it to look for it. I've got a buddy of mine, and I literally did like 6 passes on this road looking for him. Coming back, he does 1 pass, passes me, comes back and goes, "Hey, look what I found! I've got a Simus."
Oh my god!
Not only did he find a Simus, he cruised a Simus and a pine snake on that pass. And I was like, I didn't see anything all day. I was out
so
there.
Weird how that happens.
It's 6 or 7
so
passes.
strange.
Yeah,
so
here.
If I found a Scarlet King in Florida, does that count to cross it off in South Carolina? Is that
no? You gotta find that counts as your lifer, but not your South Carolina lifer.
Yeah,
Scarlets are in my top 3 too. I always want to find Scarlets, but I've never found a Scarlet, and that's another one that I'm convinced is just not.
You guys just
not out here.
With me in April.
I found Scarlet Snakes. I found plenty of those, but not Scarlet Kings.
Yeah, just
never in South Carolina.
April, man. I can do my best to get you a Scarlet King. The last 2 groups that came out with me, we got them a Scarlet King.
Where were you finding them though?
Huh?
Where are you finding them?
Like cover wise or area or what?
Yeah, cover wise.
Under pine bark. The last 2.
Why does everyone says that? And I have peeled what feels like miles apart pine trees.
So the other thing is,
so many pines.
At this point, I think people are just messing with me, and it's a lie.
I don't just go rip pine bark off of trees. Like
I do.
Pull pieces up that like I can like place back down just to keep the minimized habitat destruction. It's one thing if there's a million pine trees down. If you peel some bark off a few, it's not going to hurt anything. But I always try to make sure I lift it up in like a sheet that I can put back down.
I will skin every dead pine alive.
Justin, it's the bad karma. That's where you're not finding them, man.
My thing is like lifers and stuff like that. Like I'm bound and determined to find as many species on the island as possible. And I have a list now of species where I'm like, they're just not on the island. I'm looking for something that just ain't here.
It could very well be. I mean, like I said, there's not Decay's brown snakes in this general area. Like I've got to actually drive out a little bit to find one of the most common snakes in the Southeast. And anywhere I honestly, I just need to get off work one day, drive into town and ask the old people if I can go flip their yard gnomes. Like, hey, y'all mind if I flip your yard ornaments?
Yep.
Free
It's
snake.
not weird and it's not like a sexual thing. I'm just looking for snakes.
So, do you want to see the craziest red belly water snake you'll ever see in your life?
I absolutely do.
I did not catch the snake, but I took a picture just to document that it existed.
So he could go to the bar and tell all the floozies he did in fact catch it. Look at this red belly I caught. It's wild.
Oh my god, that might be the reddest.
That's not a red belly. It's just a red water snake.
Yeah, it's just red.
Like I've seen them red, but I've never seen them that red. Like,
yeah, it looked like it looked like a Clark egg compressicata. Like something just insane, dude. Like that's why I was like, I'm not gonna be able to catch this thing because it's
hold on, fellas. I've got to run and grab my charger for the laptop real quick.
There you go, man. Oh man, this is making me want to get out and herp.
I mean, there's nothing stopping you. If anything, the cold makes it easier.
The cold does not make it easier
because they can't move as fast. They can't get away from you as quickly.
That's logical.
Now's the time to catch racers because the racers are like, "What are you doing to me?"
Yeah, if you want to catch a bunch of freaking racers, which I know you don't. You don't even try for those anymore.
I mean, no. If I flip one, I'll tail them and pester them for a few minutes, and then let them go along their way.
Pester them for a few minutes.
I mean, like, you don't get to be a racer and not get pestered for a few minutes at least.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. I still try and catch them every time.
Do you guys also struggle with finding free outlets in your reptile room to plug stuff in?
I just have like a
No,
million power
because
strips.
no, my room has an ungodly amount of outlets, which is crazy.
I have so many power strips, man. I like it's like I'm just like, what day is going to be the day I trip a breaker?
Yep. I did that so when before I moved here, I was in my parents' house and I kept tripping the room that I was in. Like it kept just like I would walk in and all the lights are off, the fan's off. I'm like, the fan never goes off. Like, what is this? And sure enough, trip the breaker. So that was great. But now since I run ambient in here, I have way less electronics running. My heater's running, and then one thermostat is running on a stack of cages. Got a timer for lights, and then a one power strip with a bunch of heat pads on it.
Nerd.
Yeah, well. Shut up, Chondro boy.
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Oh, Justin, I came across the first picture you and I have together.
Oh yeah.
That was a long.
Damn boy, I was thin.
Yeah, boy, you look kind of
What
buff.
happened?
I don't know. That was 2019. That should have been before 2019.
That had to be before 2019.
Yeah, that date's wrong. Oh, but it's
That was-
January
remember,
20.
that was-
It was January 2019 because we
Remember
met.
that was your blood phase.
What year did you graduate from or I mean, I know I didn't graduate from college, unfortunately. Not necessarily by choice. Maybe some choice decisions, but you know,
that school didn't give you many reasons to stay. Let's be honest.
it did, we got drunk and played cornhole in the parking lot. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't get me wrong. I did learn a lot. I enjoyed the experience. You know, I unfortunately failed a class and couldn't get the funding to continue to go because I'm poor.
I almost failed. What was it? I think it was.
It was one of Clark's classes, wasn't it?
Of course, it was one of Clark's classes. It was like the last class of like, it was like the big one. It was like management, huh?
Oh yeah, I failed that one by 1 point. That man would not give me 1 point. I was like,
oh no, I believe it. 100%.
Yeah, he wouldn't give me 1 point. And I failed that class, and that caused me not to be able to graduate from college and get my degree because of that asshole.
Yeah.
Clark was a fat dickhead douchebag. Like, legit, like, couldn't stand the man.
No, dude. He for some reason, like, he always liked to tease me. So, like, he didn't take it easy on anybody.
In his defense.
Me, man.
Yeah, no, for some reason, he liked me. He always worked with me. And the only reason I passed that class,
gave Jake that extra point.
Yeah, right. The point that he didn't give you.
Yeah, man.
No, so
This was supposed to go to someone else, but I'm going to give it to you.
So what I did in that class, like the first half, I kept up with all my lab work, all the extracurricular shit. Pretty much got all A's on that. But I completely bombed the first two tests. I mean, horribly. And Clark came up to me. He's like, just so you know, you're still passing this class because of your labs. He's like, but these tests are each test is worth 25%. Like, you know, these mean a lot. He's like, you really need to pull it out because if you fail these next two, you're done. Like, you're not going to graduate.
Management book you had to write at the very end of it.
Oh, yeah. I still have it somewhere.
So
all 300 pages.
Yes. So we were writing the management book and we completely, I don't know what was going on. Probably a little too much to drink at the time, you know, being, you know, in college.
Yeah, especially that college.
And we lost a whole entire year of the book, like the week of that we're supposed to turn it in. And we literally stayed. They left the lab room unlocked for us and stayed 2 nights in a row overnight. Slept in the parking lot for like naps and just crunch timed it. Got it done. And that bastard still wouldn't give me that 1 point.
Dude, that book was worth like a huge portion of your grade. Like it was
like
bad.
something. Yeah. And well, like I crushed it, and he wouldn't give me that 1 point, man. I was like, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's 1 point, man.
I definitely like, because you know how you had to basically, for anybody listening, sorry we're babbling about college a little bit, but graduate, fellow college guys, at least at this college, very unique school to say the least.
Yes.
Yes. And but basically we had to do a tree survey on this really large tract of land. You had to mark every tree, measure every tree, all this stuff. Then you had to write a whole management plan. And so I don't know how y'all did it, but we had a partner for actual like measuring up the trees. And then you weren't supposed to like work together on the actual management part. Well,
the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much all of us were like, yeah, fuck that. Like we're all working together. Like, so me and my buddy did our entire books together, and like it was good. I think we each got like an 80 on it or something. Like it turned out really well. Like I said, it was like 300 pages.
You had to make at least like what was it, like a at least an 80, like anything under an 80 or something wouldn't. It was a weird scoring when I was there.
It was something like that. Yeah.
And dude,
it was hard, man.
I busted my ass for that class, and that man still failed me.
Yeah, well, I managed to his only note, like he had certain things they didn't like, but his biggest thing was like, I really wish you and Mosley would have done things, a little bit more different from each other, so I'm taking points off for that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. If that's all you got to say, I'll take it. But somehow I managed to, the last 2 tests I actually studied. And I managed to get like an 89 on one of them and like a 95 on the last test. And I was like, yes.
Oh man. So like
I'm gonna graduate. But that class was the reason I lost my scholarship though, because I was supposed to maintain a 3.0 every semester.
Yeah, that's why.
I had one. Yeah, I had one every single semester until then. I got like a 2.8 or something.
I think I got a 2.7, 2.8 because of that class.
Yeah.
Lost my scholarship. Couldn't afford to keep going because I'm poor. And yeah.
No, my dad likes to remind me that he's still paying for that.
No, I paid all mine. I always remind my parents that unlike my sister, I didn't put them in debt.
Yeah, no, and see that's the thing. They didn't have to pay for all of my school, because my dad told me, I hate to sound like a spoiled kid, but yeah, my parents did pay for my college, and but they told me they were like, college is your work now. We're not going to make you work. We're going to pay for your college, but you're going to do well and you're going to pass, or it's your ass. And I was like, okay, like I guess cool.
Yep.
And he still reminds me. He's like, yeah, but college I'm still paying for, And I was like, I almost got it,
dude. I was like, literally like I was like that class, and then like an English and a math away from graduating.
Yeah,
and lost the funding, and I was like, I had like 3 or 4 more classes, and only one was an elective. Like,
yeah. Luckily, I passed all my classes enough to graduate. Not to keep my scholarship, but to graduate. Yes. So that was a perk. I graduated in 2016.
Nice.
That was when I got it. So
you guys want to see something really cool?
Always.
All right, hold on one sec.
I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks.
All right, so I've got to put this on and play this. So this is that lightning effect I set up. I'm not going to turn the mister on because I don't want to like overwater this thing.
Yeah, you don't want to get him going.
Don't you hate commercials?
I was about to say, it sounds like thunder to me.
No, you're not going to laugh at that joke at all. Is that just going to go right over your head?
What, with the School of Hard Knocks?
They didn't want to turn the mister on. Mr. Who?
Oh, I didn't even hear you say
Oh, I'm hilarious.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, is that a wags?
No. So, my adult wag, rolled on me. I tried to transfer it to this enclosure after keeping it in a tub. It was doing great. A week after transferring into this, it just rolled on me. And I honestly think it was just the stress of upgrading to a bigger enclosure.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like a species where once you kind of got them set into where they're doing fine, you
Yeah.
don't want to change that at all.
like, I know there's a bunch of people that, oh, I don't do racks, or oh, I don't do this or that. But some of those species, man, just want to be kept in a tiny little box and not messed with. Like that wag, I guarantee you, if I'd have kept it in the tub and kept doing what I was doing, it would have done fine. And I think I just stressed it out, just moving it from one tub into this bigger enclosure. And yeah,
want
I
some-
still have the baby. The baby's still doing good for me.
Oh yeah,
The baby wag has been eating cricket frogs. It just took another pinky head for me. I'm trying to wean it off. It was kind of one of those deals where a buddy of mine was like, "Hey, my import had a bunch of babies. Come get a baby. I don't want to feed these things." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure."
Yeah, if you're gonna pull my leg,
If you're gonna pull my leg, but yeah. Oh, and I do have some variable bush vipers. I forgot to mention. Yeah.
squams.
Qualms. Honestly, though, out of all the bush viper complex, like I really like the Chlorecus.
those are cool, man.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
I had one a while back. I really like the Chlorecus. Don't get me wrong, squams are super cool, super cute little guys. But just something about the Chlorecus, man.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, man.
How's the Insularis? Those seem like fun.
Yeah, so they pretty much sit there until they don't. They're very much a like 0 to 100 snake. They're gonna sit there until they're fed up with it, and then they're gonna shoot off.
Yeah.
The plus side about it is that them being arboreal, they hit a solid floor, and they're not very. They
don't know what to do.
don't know what to do. They're just like, oh god.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
And on hooks, they can move really quick. But like I said, they hit the ground and they're just like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
I mean, they can still move, but they're nowhere near as fast as they are in the branches.
Much less graceful.
Yes.
I really want some Panesius. Those would be fun.
Dude, I almost had a chance to get some high yellows. I should have. I didn't. But yeah, the Panesius are beautiful, but they're not. I mean, they're partially arboreal, but they're not super arboreal. They do like the ground a lot.
The size difference in those cracks me up too between the males and the females because the males are.
Oh yeah, dimorphism is insane. It's like he likes him some big girls. But yeah, man, they're cool. Show you this cage behind me. I don't think you guys have seen that too much. Oh no.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that background and how, like, what you did to make that because it looks fucking phenomenal.
So what I did was I actually got foam insulation board, and so I did a solid piece on the back, and then I did Gorilla Glue, and when I got other foam board pieces and cut and carved for the ledges and stacked them.
Okay.
Almost like a slate wall.
Yeah.
And then I just glued the whole time with Gorilla Glue as I went along, and then went back afterwards, used a Dremel, kind of shaped them out a little bit, and then just dry locked over it. A few coats of dry lock, and then a little bit of watered down animal safe acrylic, just for giving it that little bit more depth look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
do you find the specs actually spend any time?
Oh, dude,
on that?
I mean, I don't know if you can see him up there.
Oh yeah, didn't even notice them.
Yep. They crawl all over it. They love the rock wall. I did the same ledge type setup, a little bit different color here in
Mm-hmm.
focus is bad. Kind of see that setup. And so I did that rock wall for the little ornate blacktail.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's in the crack over here right now. So yeah, they spend a tremendous amount of time climbing that wall, going up in those cracks. They make full use of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of if you're going to do a big bioactive, make use of the background, because you can really add a lot of extra space, a lot of extra area for them to explore, and gives them a little bit extra exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, you try climbing a rock wall every day, you're gonna be pretty fit.
That's how I have my physique.
Yeah. Rock walls in the Low Country, huh? Oh
That's right.
Place, man. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. I just haven't made the time or dedication to actually do a good background like that. But
Yeah, that's kind of only been my reservation is just the time and patience.
Well,
Actually,
I will say that building that one back there, that's a 4x2x2.
Mm-hmm.
And building that one took just doing it after work. What took the longest was the cutting and gluing individual pieces.
Yeah.
And then the carving. I mean, to build that, it probably took me, and this is with me just casually doing it with like 30 minutes here and there in the afternoon, probably a couple months.
Jeez.
Had the big enclosure in the kitchen with everything laid out, no kitchen table, and the wife's just like, "When are you going to move your shit?"
When I'm done with it.
When I'm finished. It was funny because she was the whole time. She's like, "Gabe, I need the kitchen table back." And then when I finished it, she came in there and she was like, "Oh yeah, it was definitely worth the 2 months without a kitchen table." That was
damn right.
I was like, "You're damn right it was." Yeah.
It's awesome.
No, but she was like, man, she was like, "Oh my God." She goes, "I didn't realize it was going to turn out looking like that based off of what you were working on in the kitchen. I didn't know what you were making." But yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, that's similar to when I was doing the dart frog tanks and stuff. I remember Doug was like, "Why does it look like that? And when are you going to be done?" Because it would be in the kitchen or something on the island. As I'm spray foaming and stuff. And I'd be like, "It'll make sense. Just give it time."
I remember that.
Yeah.
Having them on the island in there, all these exoterras and stuff.
Dude,
I miss darts so bad, dude. I miss darts real bad.
Why'd you get out of darts, man?
Mostly space.
Yeah, I get that.
It was taken. I had like the tanks and stuff in the snake room were taking up probably a half of a whole wall, which in that room is a pretty good chunk of real estate. So unfortunately, I gave him to Ryan Reed, and he was pretty much like, anytime you want to get back into them, let me know, and I'll have offspring and stuff. So just got to have the space to do it, because I do miss having them around. Like those were so much fun. They were everything I expected them to be, and it was they're great. I love them.
I just don't know that I could deal with all the fruit flies, man. Like, I mean,
that is challenging. Like having a consistent supply of them and making sure you always have some on hand, like the timing of the cultures and things like that. Like that is the most difficult part about it, I think. Other than that, if you can get those sort of rocking and rolling and keep them going, or it's not bad. But if you have some cultures crash and you have to order some on the fly, and then it's kind of stressful. But they're not that bad.
Yeah, I know. That's one thing I miss is keeping tree frogs, man. I've kept several different species over the years, and I'm trying to get away from stuff that eats insects, just because like it's a pain in the butt, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to go get crickets and I breed some hissing cockroaches and death head cockroaches at work, and I grab some of those on occasion to feed the little leopard gecko here, and I'm just like, you better be happy that I'm attached to you, because you and the tarantula are the only two things I have left that eat insects. Like
snakes spoil you, man.
they really do.
They do.
Like I'm always, looking at, cool lizards and stuff, and I'm always like, not doing it. Nope. I like being able to feed chicks and rats and mice and stuff that I can freeze and put in the deep freezer.
Yep, and only have to feed them once every week to 2-3 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, what's not to love? I've got 2 dogs for the high maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Well, as we come to a close, my final question for you is being a venomous keeper, you have quite a few animals. What would be your biggest piece of advice to somebody looking into getting into venomous?
If you can get a mentor who actually a responsible mentor,
real one.
Keyword there.
Yes. If your mentor is going to free handle a bunch of stuff for likes on Instagram, don't go to that mentor. But if you can get a responsible mentor, I highly recommend it. Always wear closed-toed shoes when you're in the room if you have venomous. Don't free handle. It's not worth it. Those bills are expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but if you got the YouTube views, those will pay for that, no problem.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, no. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Not worth the risk. Make sure you have a bite protocol. And
that was another question I was going to ask, but I didn't really want to ask it in case you didn't.
I have to revise I don't have it in my room right now like a dummy because I have to revise it.
Okay.
But my wife knows, like, hey, if this and this happens. So not a lot of people know this, but I took my one and only venomous bite earlier this year. From the Arizona black rattlesnake. I was in a rush, and I always use a hook to open the enclosures. And like a dummy, I was like, oh, I'm just going to pull the latch open and sling it open real quick. And, then I can hook the snake out, and snake wasn't where it normally was in a rush. Take your time. Don't be in a rush. It's not worth it. Just take that couple extra seconds to do it right. Luckily for me, it wasn't a bad bite.
I mean, fortunately, there's a lot worse things to get hit by.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Was it dry, or were you actually?
Oh no, it was a wet bite. It was one fang in the hand. Found out. So you should definitely research on what the toxicity and the venom types of your animal is. For me, the venom composition varies on Arizona blacks from range to range. And so I didn't know exactly which mountain range this guy was from. So I was like, it doesn't hurt. That's not good. It's not neurotoxic. And so I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I get in there, hands swole up, forearm starting to swell a little bit. Still no pain. So I'm like, get blood tests back. We're good. Turns out it was mostly cytotoxic. So we're good. But no anti-venom. Didn't want to take anti-venom unless absolutely necessary. Monitored my coagulation factor, my blood pressure, all that good stuff. And then venom toxicologist doctor I know, once it got to around my shoulder, he was like, all right, you should probably go ahead and at least get 1 vial. And I'm like, all right. And that's when I found out Gabe's allergic to crowfab.
You're allergic to crowfab?
Allergic to crowfab, which honestly, though, I'm glad I found out in this situation.
Yeah.
Versus like a bad bite.
Are you allergic to horses, though, outside of that?
No, I grew up on a horse farm.
That's weird.
But they don't. It's not horses. It's sheep.
Oh, is it sheep serum? Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
And
even then, if you're, it's not
you can't
too
call me
far
sheep.
apart. Shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it's better to find out in a situation like that. So that's another thing, is be aware of your allergies. If you are allergic to a lot of mammals, the chances are you're probably going to be allergic to crowfab. And so I have, my wife knows that. She knows that if something ever does happen, God forbid, don't plan on it. You never plan on it though, right?
No.
That if I'm to be administered any crowfab, because almost everything that I keep is crowfab,
Right.
treated with crowfab or similar. It's what crowfab and God, I can't remember.
I forget what the name of the new one is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so she knows that if something happens and I'm unconscious, that the doctor has to administer, a steroid or Benadryl before administering crowfab. So be aware of your allergies. And make sure you have secure enclosures. Like don't try to keep a big, strong elapid in like an exoterra. It's not going to work out great for you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, you see back here, I've got the little lep in an exoterra. I've got a couple smaller rattlesnakes in a similar type tank, but rattlesnakes aren't going to be, climbing and pushing up.
Yeah, they're not pushers.
Right. They're not pushers. I would never keep an elapid in something, like if you're going to keep an elapid, or a big elapid, make sure that thing's locked up good. Because unfortunately, if your venomous snake gets out and bites somebody, that reflects poorly on all of us. And then, as you guys know, with the battle with legislation on venomous keeping, a lot of the dummies out there are making it real hard for us to make a strong case to why we should be able to keep keeping these animals. Because I mean, I feel bad myself about my bite, because that makes us look bad, and it's it's not worth it. And if we want to keep being able to work with these animals in captivity, we got to do better as a whole.
Yeah, man, for sure. And that crowfab thing, if you're going to look into this, that is something you should really look into, because like in my scenario, I took a really bad bite from Aatrox, and I got 12 vials. And if I would have found out I was allergic to it, that would have been very, very bad,
You might not be sitting here today.
Please. So, those are all things you have to take into consideration, like, could you be allergic to crowfab? Could you be allergic to the venom? That's harder to find out. You kind of have to find out, the hard way, but hopefully you never do. The goal is to not get bit. And I think it's frankly very easy to not get bit by a venomous snake if you're doing things right. Obviously, Gabe, not saying anything bad about what you.
Oh no, listen, I absolutely fucked up. Like, no, hands down. I like I said, it was a careless error on my part. I wasn't free handling or anything stupid like that, but
right,
like I said, normal procedure with that in particular enclosure is open the door with a hook, because the way that's set up, and I should have. And in a rush, I didn't. Miscalculated where the snake was at, and
yeah, a very, very similar thing happened to Nipper Reed with his pygmies.
I heard about that.
Yeah, he talked about it on Venom Exchange Radio, and and Nipper is somebody, a venomous keeper that I respect more than a lot of people out there. So accidents.
Man, he's been doing it for ever,
and he's
old.
He's a legend, dude. He's a freaking legend. But yeah, it's definitely not fun. It's certainly not a badge of honor by any means.
I think that people who look at bites as badges of honor shouldn't be keeping venomous snakes.
Absolutely not.
It's
chicks dig scars, bro.
Oh yeah.
You don't get a scar from that. You get scar tissue.
But like the biggest thing is, like, with me working in the wildlife field and as a professional naturalist too, a bite looks bad professionally.
Absolutely.
And I got several messages from good friends and colleagues of mine like, hey, I hope you're okay, you dumbass.
Yeah.
you know,
Don't do that again.
don't do that again.
Yeah.
But another one more thing I want to say about venomous keeping is, don't just hop right into venomous. Do your research, get a little bit of experience. I worked with other people's collections and wild animals as well, doing relocations and stuff over the years, and a combination of the two for many years before I ever kept my first venomous.
When did you start keeping venomous?
I didn't actually start keeping my first venomous in this house until about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Nice.
Around the time I got my house. But I had worked with other people's collections. I had, worked with professionals out in the field doing studies. I'd got the experience. Another thing is, I see a lot of people start off with venomous, and a lot of people, oh, I want a big gaboon viper, oh, I want a forest cobra, or I want this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, gaboons just don't do it for me. But hey, to each their own. But if you want to don't just start off with a copperhead just because you want to get a copperhead because you think it's the safer option, because you're going to lose interest real quick. You're going to want to pass it along to someone who might not be prepared to deal with it. And I think the best course of action is choose what you want, work with someone who has that animal, get the experience, and then
sure you want it.
exactly. And then a lot of times halfway through it, you're like, I don't really know if I want this animal, but yeah, figure out what you want, get the experience with that animal, and start with that animal. Don't waste your time on a less potent or a less dangerous. There's no such thing as a less dangerous venomous snake, Get what you want, get the experience with it, learn from your peers, your responsible peers, on the proper way to do things.
I also think if you want something, exotic, something not from North America, there's a lot more to that and things that you have to weigh out and have more proper bite protocols, because if you have cobras, mambas, any of those,
Well, I don't keep elapids for that reason.
like I have zero. Yeah, I want to keep venomous one day, but it would all be North American stuff just in case something did happen. It's a lot. All your North American pit vipers, you're pretty much gonna get crowfab.
Yep.
And most hospitals carry that in North America. If
Well,
you get bit by a cobra or a mamba or any of those things,
you better hope the zoo nearby has a stock that they'll
is willing to give it to you. So it's a lot of things to take into consideration, especially when you go exotic, so really know what you're getting into.
Oh yeah. And like even with a lot of the exotic vipers, like tree vipers I have, a lot of those guys aren't super potent. They're non-life threatening. Yeah, the squams can be a little iffy depending on where they're from. But the rest of it's all, you're not going to die from it.
Yeah. But anybody listening, don't take that with a grain of salt. It is still a venomous snake. Yeah.
It's still a venomous snake. You're gonna wish you were dead. But don't take that as, oh, I'm gonna go finger fondle this tree viper.
Yeah.
No. But as far as treatable things,
absolutely, yeah.
All of my really, really, potentially deadly hot stuff I have is all crowfab.
Right. Yeah, man. It's definitely nothing to play around with. I think getting a mentor is probably the best piece of advice you can have, man. Good mentor.
Yes.
But that's awesome, man. So we are past the 2-hour mark, man. So if anybody wants to, get in touch with you, talk some snakes, poke your brain about some venomous, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, man. So you can hit me up on my Instagram page. It's Shuler Gabe. It's me holding the beautiful pine snake. And then I've got Facebook. My Facebook, I don't post a lot on there. It's mostly on the Instagram. And then I've got TikTok. Feel free to reach out on TikTok. So like I said, probably Instagram is probably gonna be the best way to reach me. Feel free to reach out if you got any questions. I don't bite, unlike some of the snakes.
Very good, man. Well, if y'all have any questions or want to reach out to Gabe, definitely do that. This has been a really, really fun episode. Glad you came on, man. Thank you for joining us tonight on such a short notice.
Thank you guys for having me.
And once again, this was episode 206 of the Herpeticulture Podcast. And of course, as always, brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. You need a rack, you need a cage. BlackBox, it's all the rage. You will not be disappointed with their product. We all swear by them. I have 3 different racks here, 3 different cages as well. All just as good as the next. Have 0 complaints. So definitely check them out. They got anything that you may or may not need, but you need it all. Let's face it. Then, of course, check out Steve Snaketuary with his Venom hot sauce. We are huge fans of the Cottonmouth sauce, but if you're going to buy the Cottonmouth sauce, may as well buy them all. Even if you're not a hot sauce guy. Yes, got to collect the whole set. Even if you're not a hot sauce guy, it is very tasty. But even if you don't like any hot sauce, it still makes for a cool Reptile room edition, little art, because they have all the pictures of the snakes on them. They're really, really cool bottles. So check those out. Get them. You'll be supporting a really good guy doing really good stuff out in Louisiana. He's also a first responder. So if anything, go check out his website, check out his Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff he posts all the time. And then last but not least, my good friend over here to the left, Sir Smitty. Go follow him at Fulvius Apparel. Don't be a hemipene. Don't be weird. Don't be naked.
Yeah.
Check out Fulvius Apparel. Get some of the coolest shirts in herpeticulture right now. He's putting out some heat. He does
Coffee mugs too.
He's done, yeah, coffee mugs now too. He's branching out. I've got a ton of shirts from him. I love them all. He's made my long sleeve shirts as well, which I keep saying it. I need to get a bunch made to actually get out to people. But yeah, definitely check out Fulvius Apparel and all the stuff Justin's got going on there. So thank you everybody who tuned in, whether it be night, morning, whenever you listen to this. You could be listening to anybody, but you're listening to us, and we certainly appreciate it. So
we'll be back for Snakes and Stogies Monday night. We really only have a couple more episodes left for the year before we kind of dip off for the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know when we're doing that. Are we gonna plan on recording next week?
I don't know. I gotta look at the calendar. What is next week?
What's today?
It's the 7th.
Today's the 7th.
The 14th.
It's the 14th. So
yeah,
I think we
figure that out. But
I think we can record next week and then give her a break until Christmas. So yeah, catch Snakes and Stogies Monday. Catch us here next week. Not sure if we record. Who knows?
We'll see. We are sort of planning our People of the Year thing again. We didn't put as much sort of planning into it as we did last year, but we are still planning to do it. I don't know if we'll end up doing like a whole episode sort of thing like we did, at least before the new year. I don't know. We got to coordinate with the gang to see what the plan is there. But
I mean, I know it's kind of short notice, but that could always be the potential next week.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It just depends on everyone's schedules. I believe we have decided on our network person of the year.
Yes.
Pretty excited about that. And then, all the people for each of the shows too. I got to get with Phil and figure out sort of what we've decided on for Snakes and Stogies.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were doing somebody for each show as well.
I mean, that's what it sounds like initially. I was like, since we haven't done a whole lot of planning, just do a THN person and keep it simple. But it sounds like Phil was like, let's go ahead and do all of them. So we'll see.
Yeah. Go from there.
That conversation that we were initially having sort of steered into other things and sort of drifted off. So
yes, it did.
have to rein it back in, but
it's all right though. Well, thank you again, Gabe, for coming on, man. Really enjoyed this episode, and we'll definitely be in touch about some herping.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Have a good
Thank you.
You too.
Later.
Bye.